So let's talk about something big. What if you could take one of your largest, most traditional financial assets, like a life insurance policy, and transform it? I mean, really transform it from just a locked up piece of paper into a dynamic, liquid, digital tool you can actually use. That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay, think about this for a second. Life insurance. It's a massive trillion-dollar store of value, and for a lot of families, for a lot of businesses, it's actually their single biggest asset. But here's the crazy part, the paradox. You have all this wealth, but it's basically locked away. It's illiquid. It's kind of like owning a giant gold bar that's stuck in a vault you can't easily access. You can't spend it, you can't borrow against it, not without a ton of hassle anyway.
And hey, if you've ever actually tried to do something with a traditional policy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The whole process is just slow. It's all paper-based, it's super complicated, full of friction, and honestly, pretty opaque. You're left feeling like, I own this incredible asset, this incredible value, but why is it so hard to get to? It's anything but simple.
Well, that's the thing. What if all of that could change? What if we could build a totally new kind of infrastructure? One that could finally bridge that gap between the old world of paper legal agreements and the new world of verifiable digital proof.
All right, so let's get into Section 1, building a trust engine. And the solution here, it doesn't start with tech for the sake of tech. No, it starts with a really solid foundational legal philosophy. It's all about building an engine that is designed from the ground up for trust.
So the core idea, the absolute bedrock of this whole thing is law over code. What does that mean? It's simple, really. Technology is the servant, not the master. The system is built to make absolutely sure that human intent, what lawyers call animus, the living spirit of an agreement, is always in charge. The code doesn't get to make up its own rules. It just follows the orders, executing the rules that were set by real human legal authority.
Okay, so this whole architecture rests on 4 main pillars, and they all have to work together perfectly. First up, you've got the ApproPro workflow engine. Think of that as the brain, the governance and execution layer. Then there's Notary Chain. That's your permanent record, a public ledger of all the important legal acts. Next is Secure Bankbox, or SBBX. This is basically a super secure neutral digital vault where all the evidence lives. And finally, you have the Justice Fund Exchange. This is the legal rail, the official track for handling stuff like arbitrations and making sure everything complies with commercial law. You put them all together and bam, you have a complete, totally verifiable system.
Now, this is absolutely critical. There's a human in the loop, and we are not talking about your average stamp and sign notary public. A civil law notary in this system is a whole different beast. They're a highly trained legal expert who acts as a preventive architect. They are personally on the hook for certifying the intent, that animus, behind an agreement before a single line of code gets locked in. They are the ultimate human checkpoint, making sure the entire system is being directed by real, living legal intent, not just reacting to data.
Okay, Section 2, unlocking insurance with Tolly. Let's see how this trust engine actually works in the real world. We're going to zoom in on our main case study, unlocking the value trapped in life insurance. So we'll be talking about something called trust-owned life insurance, or TOLI. It's pretty much what it sounds like, a life insurance policy that's held inside a trust, usually for estate planning or asset protection. And, the same logic applies to things like bank-owned life insurance, or BOLI. Both of these, TOLI and BOLI, are huge asset classes, but they've always been incredibly difficult to actually leverage.
So what's the magic key that unlocks all this trapped value? It's something called a TNSA, which stands for Tokenized Notary Service Agreement. And I want you to think of this as way more than just a typical smart contract. It's really a smart legal primitive. This is the special digital tool that takes that legally certified human intent, that animus we keep talking about, and perfectly maps it to an automated, verifiable process on the blockchain. It's the bridge.
So how does this actually happen? How do you go from paper to proof? Well, it's a 3-step transformation. Step 1, you start with the asset in its original form, a traditional term life insurance policy, just sitting on paper. Step 2, you use a TNSA to legally convert that policy into trust-owned life insurance, or TOLI. This is a super important legal move. It officially places the asset inside this new trust architecture. And finally, step 3, that TOLI gets tokenized. A digital twin is created on the blockchain, and suddenly you have an asset you can see, manage, and control with a level of transparency that was just impossible before. And the change here, it's like night and day. I mean, you're going from an opaque, paper-based system to one that's totally verifiable and transparent. You're swapping slow, manual, headache-inducing processes for instant, automated execution. And the best part? Compliance isn't some extra step you have to worry about later. It's literally baked right into the code. So what's the bottom line? That asset that was illiquid and a pain to manage, it's now liquid and completely under your control.
All right, Section 3, the new rules of value. So we've unlocked the asset. It's out of the cage. Now for the really fun part. What can you do with it? What kind of new financial superpowers does this actually give you?
Well, first things first, security. We're talking about institutional-grade protection here. This is not the Wild West of DeFi. For starters, collateral notes get wrapped with an insurance rider, and it's underwritten by Lloyd's of London. That's a big deal. The smart contracts themselves act as a kind of execution gate. They will flat out refuse to settle a deal if the insurance is expired or doesn't match up. And behind all of that, the entire ecosystem is backstopped by a dedicated reinsurance trust that acts as the ultimate risk firewall.
It's this level of security and proof that makes some truly mind-blowing financial tools possible. And one of the most powerful is the flash loan. So what is a flash loan? Get this, it's an uncollateralized loan, meaning you don't post collateral that is borrowed and repaid in one single transaction, all within a single blockchain block, which is about 12 seconds. It gives you access to enormous amounts of liquidity as long as the whole operation starts and finishes almost instantaneously.
And that brings us to a concept that sounds like science fiction, but it's real: financial teleportation. Let me give you an example. Imagine you need a big chunk of cash right now for a down payment on a house. All your wealth is tied up in that life insurance policy. With this system, you could use a flash loan, which is secured by your digitized Totally asset, to borrow the value, make the payment, and settle the loan in a matter of seconds. And the craziest part, you never had to sell your policy. You literally just teleported its value to where you needed it for a moment in time while the asset itself never moved. How cool is that?
Okay, let's pull back for the final section. Section 4, a future built on proof. Because as you can probably tell, this is about way more than just life insurance. This is a blueprint for a whole new kind of financial plumbing, one built from the ground up on verifiable proof.
The big picture, the grand vision, is to create what you could call a trust-native financial operating system. What does that mean? It means a system that doesn't depend on one single central bank or government. It's designed for the multipolar world we're living in because its trust isn't based on geography or politics. It's based on something much stronger: math and law. And if there's one thing to really burn into your brain, it's this quote right here. The system is non-custodial. It never holds your money. It doesn't touch your assets. The value, the actual dollars and cents, moves through normal, everyday payment systems. The only job of this infrastructure is to provide immutable, undeniable, court-admissible proof that everything happened exactly as it was supposed to. The proof lives inside the system. Your value always stays with you. So that leaves us with one final really big question to chew on. For centuries, our entire financial world has been built on trusting other people and other institutions. But what happens when trust itself can be programmed? When it can be verified and automated by combining law and code? What does that really mean for the future of value itself, how we define it, how we manage it, and how we exchange it? It's a massive shift, and honestly, we're just scratching the surface of what it all means.